Now that I'm no longer under NDA because Skate is coming out in a few weeks, I can finally say whatever I want about the game. It's still shit. Okay, I have to admit, not everything about the game is bad. For example, the animations on most of the tricks are very flowy and a huge step up compared to Skate 3, especially considering you can control the speeds at which you do them, and held tricks are a hell of a lot easier to trigger, no longer requiring any real height to trigger them. You can do double and sometimes even triple kickflips from flat now. The map isn't all that bad either, I just wish it was a bit bigger and that there were more grungy areas. This is a problem that's going to get solved in time because the map is going to expand in future seasons, but for now, it just leaves more to be desired. So, you're probably wondering what the few glaring problems are with Skate. Well, UI bugs, bugged challenges, bugged camera, tricks not properly triggering, lack of tricks, lack of brands, lack of soul, bad voice acting and dialogue, object dropper doesn't have full 360-degree rotation options, glitches, both practical and non-practical, I look like Play-Doh. Okay, yeah, there's a few problems, and a lot of them shouldn't be present in the build that's out before the game releases for the general public to play. Playtesting ends on the 16th of this month, which, at the time of this video coming out, is just over a week away. Look, I get that Skate as a franchise has always been a buggy, glitchy mess, but these bugs and glitches have never really been game-breaking like they are in the newest game. Let me break down some of the problems I listed a second ago. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by UI bugs and bugged challenges. Now, the main gameplay cycle of Skate is exactly like every other Skate game. You do challenges for rewards, but in this game, the more challenges you complete, the more standing you get within a region. The map is made up of 4 regions: Hedgemont, Goldcrest, Market Mile, and Brickswitch, which, at the time of this video coming out, doesn't currently have any challenges in it. There are 2 types of challenges: cycling ones that change every day at the same time, and permanent ones that are unlocked whenever you level up in a region. The regional challenges award you with more regional XP if you complete them. However, sometimes you can't complete them because there's a bug where no matter how many times you do a challenge, it won't complete. I kid you not, I have done this one stunt challenge 3 times and it still marks it as incomplete. Yeah, they're called stunt challenges now, they got rid of Hall of Meat, I don't think they could get the branding. This was a bigger problem in the pre-alpha because it affected more challenges than it does at the minute, but the fact that this is still a thing in the current patch is annoying. This isn't the UI bug either, it's just straight up not completing. The UI bug I'm talking about is when you finish a challenge out of bounds, the press to return to session marker prompt stays on your screen for the rest of your session until you relog. And guess what? You can dupe this to have 2 prompts on your screen. It's not just a visual thing either. Sometimes you can't start a new challenge because the game still thinks you're in a challenge since this prompt is on your screen. It's still registering you as being in the previous challenge. Again, this has been a bug for a while now and I'm surprised it hasn't been patched yet because the game comes out in just over a week. Moving on down the list, let's talk about lack of brands and lack of soul. Now, the game is free to play and life surface. It makes all of its money through microtransactions, such as, the season pass, which currently isn't visible in the pre-alpha, and it gets money from the shop purchases as well. I've seen that some people online that aren't in the early access playtest are under the idea that the store items are purely just going to be brands, but if I go onto the store now, you can see that the brands only make up a fraction of the store. It's about a 50-50 split between EA's items and the brand items. You can, however, get some brand items in the loot boxes, like the red Vans t-shirt I'm wearing in the background footage. Speaking of brands, at the minute, there are barely any. So far, I've only seen a total of 7 of them: Vans, Dime, Thrasher, Dickies, Girl, Royal, and Chocolate. There is a full circle deck, but I'm not counting that as a brand because, they're the dev team. It's more like a nod to them rather than branding. My guess is that we're going to get more brands as the game evolves season after season, but my question is, why these brands to start with? You know, we nearly have the entirety of the Cryotap distribution company par Lakai and 4-star, but wouldn't it make sense to have Lakai in the game with how popular skaters like Luis Mora are? I just don't really understand their thought process. I understand how difficult it is to get brands on board with things, but in the case of a franchise like Skate, I'm more than certain that these brands would love to be included in the game. You know, it's huge. Finally, let's talk about my own personal gripes. Bad voice acting and dialogue and the player models. I mean, none of the Skate games had Oscar-worthy performances. You know, we don't have Norman Reedus as Sam Porter in any of the games, but this is, I don't even know what to call it. The worst part about it is that V never, ever shuts the fuck up.
Wee Willie wet himself while whittling on his wooden wonder stick. Oh, sorry. Just readying the vocal emitters for your return.
Shut your fucking mouth!
You're idle whilst you eat some food, V chimes in. You skate to a different part of the map, V chimes in. You bump into a pedestrian, V chimes in. You can't even hear the pedestrians when you bump into them because V overpowers them. Luckily, you can turn this off because they know how annoying she is. I don't really like any of the other voice actors par Izzy because she's not too bad. Out of the entire cast, she sounds the most natural, but the others sound like they're reading a piece of paper with their lines on, which they were, but it's so obvious because it doesn't feel natural. It's like when you tell your mum you're gonna go out and skate and she tells you to do a sick gnarly kickflip, bruh. It's rough. And so are the player models. For a game that feels pretty realistic in terms of physics and the trick animations, your character looks like they're straight out of Fortnite. Before any of you say, but the player models were never that realistic, look at this, and now look at this. If you still feel like commenting that after seeing the two side by side, congratulations. You now know you need to go to the opticians because your eyesight is fucked. I have no problems with the map's design because it looks and it feels like a city, but the skaters themselves look like corporate art. It's like they're the Google art style and Skate 3's player models are crafted by Francisco Goya himself. I don't know, it's just strange. Anyways, that does it for this video. Now, this isn't me saying that the new Skate is a shit game, because A, these are my own opinions, and B, the game still isn't finished, as the September 16th release is only the public early access release. The game is going to update seasonally and add more content, which we're fully aware of because they released a roadmap stating exactly what's coming when. We are going to eventually get dark slides and tattoos, but it's going to take time. It's alright guys, it's not as if the game's been in development for 5 years already. Oh, wait. That's why most people are so mad. The game has been in development for so long and is missing so much in comparison to the last entries in the franchise. Especially considering this game has had the longest production time out of the rest of the franchise. Skate 1 was made in 2 years. This game, it's been 5 years and it's not even finished. I guess we'll just have to bite the bullet and see what happens. Until then,